Hello, everybody, and welcome to the alternate timeline of the Wednesday show. Yeah, we had some problems with YouTube. I'm sorry. There's nothing. It wasn't my fault this time. I sound like Han Solo. It wasn't my fault. I'm here again on a Wednesday with my two favorite people in the world, Terry DeMantis.
Hello.
And Genty Maxie.
I am here. My guy finally stopped mowing.
Small favors tonight, considering all that we're dealing with. So here's the deal for people wanting to know why we're here. We got a strike, and it wasn't anything that happened last night. The strike was from 2017. Yeah. It was 5 years old YouTube stream. We got a strike for it. I am somewhat speechless, but we're probably gonna have to get together and figure out what to do about that, because if they're gonna strike something from that long ago, they can strike anything in our catalog.
Mm-hmm. So what? From which one?
From 2017. It was a Friday.
I wasn't even with this crew in 2017.
There are some people who weren't even on the internet when this show was running. So, yeah, we used to have a Friday night game stream night, and I don't know if it was the one I used to run it. Platty used to run it. Eve used to run it. I don't know.
Was it kind of like a Quiplash kind of thing?
We did a bunch of different things. We did Straw Fighter. We did Brawlhalla. I used to run Hot Stuff or whatever. Back, I don't remember how far back we went.
Did you do genital jousting or mounting your friends? Because that might have been a problem.
I have no idea what you're
talking about. As funny as that would have been, though. Oh, that would have been amazing.
What was that? That was a game, a Steam game where you picked characters and then you had to fight each other, and the characters used to flop around a lot like they were like teddy bears. I can't remember the name of the game. It was a blast because like Zelthor and Platty would get into it and they would be screaming into the microphone, no, don't push, wait, and all this kind of stuff. It was hilarious to listen to them go on and on. But I mean, we did all those kind of games, stream games. I think we did some Jackbox stuff too. I mean, I don't remember. Exactly.
You guys definitely did Jackbox, because that was the reason I stopped watching the game streams, is because there were too many in-jokes and I had no idea what anyone was talking about. Like, they'd say like something and everyone would be laughing and I'd be like, that doesn't even mean anything. What are you talking about?
What does that mean?
You know what? I'm not going to watch the Jackbox ones. It's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a game stream on 2017, but I don't know any more details because I don't own the channel. Reject does. So she's going to have to track down who's responsible and piss on them. But, the reason that we got a strike is because I got a warning. So if I hadn't gotten my warning, this would have been the warning. But we also spent 5 days because of the warning, too. So it really isn't much different either way. It's still the same impact. Except now, if we get a strike, then it's more than just 1 week. Then you start getting cumulative issues and can lose the channel. So, yeah, that's the deal. I have to talk to Reject and get all the details straightened out. But more than likely, we'll have a meeting for the crew. Maybe on Sunday. I don't know. It depends on what people have available. We usually have a meeting on our private server, Discord server, on Sundays when something like this comes up to discuss what we want to do, or just to touch base if people have questions or whatever. We usually have like a little Sunday get together around 7:00 and chat about whatever it is, and maybe take a vote on somebody if we want to offer somebody, a minionship or something like that. We'll just get together and chat about it. So maybe that'll happen this Sunday. Reject she takes care of that as well. And then, and we'll go from there and see what the option is. Personally, I have a lot of things in mind. I'd love to see us on Rumble. Yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about. So we'll see what happens. You guys will be informed one way or another what we're going to do next. Hopefully just a week and we go back to our regular channel, but keep watching because things could change. The only thing that I think prevents us from Rumble right now is that it costs money and we don't monetize, so it's going to have to come out of our pockets if we're going to do it. So it's only $25 a month.
Problem. That's going to be a problem because there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to chip in for that.
Yeah, I mean, if we were going to do that, then it would be on the hosts to whether or not they want to do it, first of all, because we have to get everybody on the same table. If there's any host who doesn't want to do it, then we're not going to do it. So we would have to get 7 people on board. And quite honestly, $25 a month, I could do that myself. So I don't really care about the money, but I can certainly open up a Streamlab account and post it on the show. So if anybody wants to donate, they can donate to me, and I'll just give it to Reject, and she'll pay for the Rumble account. We could always do it that way. I mean, I think there are people on our show who have Streamlabs accounts. It's Streamlabs, right? What is it? What's the pay service you can? It's not
Streamlabs.
Streamlabs. Yeah, there's a, I think, doesn't Quiz have a Streamlabs account?
Pretty sure he does, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, just whatever money comes into the Streamlabs account, it's not going to be just for me personally. I would just toss it over to the whatchamacallit, to the account over on Rumble, and then I would probably publish it somewhere so everybody knows how much money is sitting in there, and make sure we have enough. And if we don't, then I'll just pay out of pocket. Do it that way.
I think it would be better to find a free service, just because money tends to complicate things all the time.
It does.
So if it can be avoided, I think a free platform would be better than a paid one.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what the meeting's for.
See, the thing is, I really wouldn't bother me. $25 more a month. I mean, that's dinner.
Right.
The hell. It's one payment of $25 a month. I can handle $5 a week.
Sure.
So I mean, even if nobody pitched in, I wouldn't hold it against anybody. There would be no big deal. So the only thing I'm questioning about is what's Rumble's technical capabilities. Obviously, you can live stream there. Can I route OBS into Rumble? I don't know. Can they do 4K? I have no idea. What's their sound like? I don't know. I'd have to do a lot of research to find out.
For sure.
And then what about the people who are watching, and people in chat and people who are watching the show? Are they willing to go over to Rumble to see us? A lot of people might just, I know I'm on YouTube, man. I don't need to be watching Rumble too, so you could get that.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot to talk about.
That's definitely a factor for me. If someone says, come watch me over on Rumble, like, nah, I'm not going.
Yeah. The thing is, I have a feeling that in time, Rumble will be where everyone's going to go. It's just going to take time to get there. But
yeah, I mean, but as of right now, there's too much stuff that I'm watching on YouTube to justify going to another platform just to watch one thing.
It's kind of like Twitch. Twitch, much bigger platform than Rumble. I know many, many more people on Twitch, and yet I still find it to be a pain in the dick to pull up Twitch to watch Satsu every single time.
Yeah,
I don't like Twitch.
And despite the fact that Twitch is much bigger, they're not as good about sharing shit. They do have all the same elements of YouTube, like the pre-shares, all that stuff. But sometimes it's a hit and miss on whether or not you see it on Twitter.
Yeah. The thing about Rumble, have you guys ever used it?
I've been on there once for something to do with the Rebel News sent me there because they're on Rumble.
Yeah.
A lot.
Rumble looks just like YouTube. It looks just like it. If you get on Rumble, it's like everything is almost exactly in the same place and everything. I don't even know how they get away with it because I think that would be kind of like a copyright thing. But it's certainly not like Twitch. Twitch is a completely different platform entirely. And I know Twitch can't do what YouTube does. Twitch cannot do 4K at 60 frames. I know they can't. I've already investigated it. So I would have to check Rumble to see. But I mean, if we're going to go anywhere, I haven't tried Odyssey. I have no idea if Odyssey is good or not. but I do know that the people on Odyssey are, they don't seem quite the friendly people that Rumble are. All Odyssey's, all I've seen from Odyssey as far as their advertisement is Rumble sucks. That's all I've seen
That's
from
not a
them.
good platform to base your identity around.
No. So I don't know. I'll have to, if the group says, hey, Rumble sounds like a great idea, and I get, consensus, then I'm going to spend time looking,
Sure.
and this could all be for naught. We could do our week and get back on YouTube and everything be, back to our regular account and everything will be just the way it is. I'm just concerned for the future. And that's kind of my job in the group. She takes care of making sure the channels exist and having backup channels, all that kind of stuff. Cause Reject owns all of this. I don't. I'm the branding guy. So I'm the guy who's going to try to get us moved to another channel or try to get us to move to another platform or all that kind of stuff. And, that's kind of my bailiwick. So
I've got the solution. If the channel gets taken down, we just all wear fake moustaches and call ourselves Zinions of the Moon. YouTube will never have any idea that it's us.
No clue. We could all just move to my account. I mean, nobody's monetizing, so it wouldn't really matter whose account we used. I don't think anybody would care that they were using. Or if somebody else in the group said, hey, use my account, well, if you're going to be generous, I wouldn't have a problem with it. So as long as there's no monetization.
Mine.
You don't use yours. Do you have one? You must have one.
Strictly speaking, everyone who has a YouTube account has a channel.
Yeah.
There's no content on mine.
No, have you done anything to the channel? Have you put like your banner up or anything like that?
No.
Nope. It's just a plain vanilla one.
Yeah, the only thing you'll find if you go to my channel is some of the music playlists that I put together.
Oh, okay.
Because those are public for whatever reason.
Right. You can make them private.
I don't care enough to change it. I'm just saying that
I know you don't.
If you go to my YouTube, that's what you'll find. You'll find a handful of playlists.
We need to do something that we haven't done. We need to say hello to everybody who followed us over to this channel in
maybe
chat.
You haven't done that.
I haven't done it. Yes, you and Jen are much better at this than I am. I was talking to Cynic earlier. So hi Cynic. Who else we got? Keywordam's got to be here, right? Let me scroll down.
Yeah.
OG Costin's here.
Yep.
I'm just scrolling down from the top.
Jack is here too. I was like, ooh, he's actually super duper early. We don't end for at least an hour.
There's Keyword. Well, technically the channel has never started, so that really doesn't apply. It's how you deal with the words. Keywordam, hi sweetie, she's here, and Mr. Adam, our Sunday show host, is here. And Spudgun, hello, sir. And that's everybody. Scrolling. Oh, Jack. Well, who? Well, what?
Hey, Camel just showed up in chat.
Oh, hey, Camel. Oh, yeah, I'm still scrolling. There he is. So hi to everybody in chat. So yeah, that's the deal with what the channel is happening. That's where we are right now. That's some of my ideas for the future. And I would say tune in Monday, if not next Wednesday, because I'll spill all the beans if Quiz and Skep Tock don't do it first. But I'll definitely spill the beans on Wednesday and give you the details about what we're going to do. Hopefully we'll have a meeting on Sunday that'll hash all this out. And then you'll know. Maybe I'll just move this show over to Rumble. Who knows? So we'll see. Keep tuned because I have a feeling things are going to change.
And Spudgun wants to know if the on-screen chat, like the one that's actually part of the video, if that's on Top Chat, because his profanity is not being displayed on the screen.
That may simply be because of the channel itself may not be allowing bad language. I think there's a toggle you can put on the channel that says whether or not that can go through. I don't think it has. I can certainly change it to see. All right, so that's live chat.
So yeah, Top Chat is the censored one. Live chat is the everything within YouTube's limits.
Is it a different? Is it a different URL, or is the URL exactly the same?
So where I'm like on the actual YouTube page, above the chat it says live chat with an arrow. You can just change it to topple live.
Mine says, okay, let me.
But we can figure it out later. It's not a big deal.
All right, I changed it on the main channel to live chat. I've changed it on mine to live chat. I'm going to repaste the URL into OBS, which may be exactly the same as it is. So you should see it refresh. No, I don't see any difference. Try, go ahead and try saying something that would normally be censored, Spud, and we'll see if it goes through. I think it's a setting on the channel that we'll have to change. Because the channel's on live chat. I'm on live chat. It's polling from what would be a live chat from a URL, so it shouldn't be. I don't know if there's any way to change it.
I mean, it's not really a big deal. I mean,
no,
the on-screen chat is just replicating what's in, like directly to the right of it.
He said bastards, and it showed up on my screen on both. It showed up on the Minions channel, and it showed up on my personal channel.
I'm watching the. I mean, there's also going to be like, what is it, a 15-second gap?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very slow.
It looks like it's censoring Spud, but not Keeverdam.
That's hilarious.
He's typing in bastards, and it won't go through, but she typed in the fuck this shit, and it went through.
Well,
I'm sorry, Spud. It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
On mine, Jax is the last comment. The okay, Keith just went through.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Maybe it's because Keeverdam has a wrench. That's why her swearing was allowed.
That may be it, because everybody on the old channel had wrenches.
Right.
And only a select few
Colson
people.
Is testing again.
Yeah. Yeah. It appears that you have to have a wrench if you want to curse. Maybe I need to double swear. He's British, though. Yeah, I think that may be what it is. I think you have to be a wrench, and because the other channel, everybody was wrenches, everybody could swear. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so.
That's something I'm going to have to talk to about with everybody again. That's going to be another thing that we're going to have to talk about. If there's going to be a Sunday meeting, it's how we want to handle wrenches on the backup channel. We basically gave almost everybody wrenches on the regular channel just because we don't care. But
yeah,
I don't know if I'm still going to see what you're saying, Spud. Just because it's not showing up on the on-screen chat, I still see it.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I don't need no stinking spanner. Yeah. Yeah, it's in the actual chat. So as long as you go to live chat. So I don't understand why mine would censor it. But maybe because there's no way to change from the default chat on mine. Mine picks up top chat no matter what. Maybe that's the deal. Because I don't know of a way of changing it. The URL is the URL, and that's the only thing I plug into OBS is just the URL. So I don't actually capture a screen. If I captured a screen, it wouldn't look nearly as pretty, but you would get definitely whatever setting I had on my local screen. So Cameron wants some news. Okay, we got news. We got you covered. We're here for you guys.
So what's up with the sniper rifle, Kelly? That one's new for me, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Let me find that news item.
Woo!
Awesome.
I know about the COVID shit. I mean, I even have other stuff other than that because there's more to it than just that. But
I'm not going to bother posting this on the screen. I'm just going to read because the posting on the screen is a static image. It's just a regular picture of Megyn Kelly. But the story is Megyn Kelly pushes back at guests saying she's conflating mass shootings issues in partisan way for ratings. And Megyn said that's bullshit right on the air.
Ooh.
Yeah, Megan really, she got balls. That girl's got balls.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had two guests on. She had Jason Calacanis, he's co-host of All In Podcast. He accused Megan of conflating the topic of mass shootings in order to get ratings. Calacanis and podcast co-host David Sachs appeared on the Tuesday edition of the Megyn Kelly Show. Both Calacanis and Sachs host a podcast all in one where they were discussing everything from politics, economics, technology, and poker. During the Tuesday's episode, the topic of mass shootings and gun control was one of the discussion points brought up by Kelly. We've seen, and everything jumps. We've seen the crime rates go up on major cities, and in particular, the murder rates go up in major cities massively over past couple of years. And there's no question the pandemic played some role in that for sure. But the soft on crime politics played a massive role too, Kelly said. She continued, what we're seeing right now, also weird phenomena in the past month or so, since Buffalo, since Uvalde, since we've seen more and more coverage of shootings pop up. Those were mass shootings. There's no question about that. But now you start to hear CNN, you read New York Times, you listen to the Biden White House, some Democratic politics, they describe everything as a mass shooting. Like 4 people shot in the grocery store, whatever is a mass shooting. And it doesn't even matter whether it's a mass shooting or skipped again. I'm having a problem reading it off this. The site I'm using is called Mediaite, and they're a piece of shit.
Okay, yeah.
Everything keeps popping up around, moving around. But she's talking about how in Chicago, if there's a shooting in Chicago and 4 people are killed, that's a mass shooting. But it's gun violence. It's not considered mass shooting because it's gang violence. But CNN still counts it as a mass shooting. I mean, and she says, I guess technically it is. I'm not trying to argue over the value of that. And then Calacanis jumps in and he says, how many people need to die in a shooting, Megan, or get hit by a bullet for you to consider it a mass shooting? Is it 4? Is it 7?
4. It's 4.
Right. But he was snotty about it. Like she was not being empathetic to the fact that kids were getting killed or people were getting killed. Well, she said, let me finish my point, Jason. As I was saying before you interrupted me, I'm not trying to dispute the use of the word mass. What I'm trying to dispute is the attempt to now say that we've got to get guns because all the mass shootings are what justifies this newfound push on gun control. As she continued to try and make her point, Calacanis interrupted again, saying, so how many people need to die in a mass shooting for it to be? And she overrides him and says, why don't you answer my question since you're here as a guest?
Well, I mean, it is clever wordplay because mass shooting has a very specific connotation in people's minds.
It does.
Like if you say there's been a mass shooting, you think someone went in and shot up like a school or a church or whatever.
Right.
So even though strictly speaking, a gang war does fit under the parameters of mass shooting.
4 or more.
That's not what people think of when they hear that term.
Right. It gets worse. I think you're conflating a lot of different issues in a very partisan way to get ratings, Calacanis said. So Megan replies, that's bullshit. Don't question my motives. This is where you turn into kind of an asshole. I'm giving you my honest analysis, and for you to say that I'm misleading the audience for ratings is a prick thing to say. You don't know me. I've made my name and made my business based on honest journalism. I realize you may be number 26 worldwide, but you've never done real journalism at the level I have in your life. So I don't need a lecture from you about ratings. I'm here to deliver honest information to my audience. That's what I'm doing. You can disagree with my point without getting personal. So she called him an asshole and a prick and said he was talking bullshit. This is right on the air on the Megyn Kelly Show. This is not typical of her. If you know Megyn Kelly, this is not her. She doesn't get into that kind of stuff. That's where the article ends because Mediaite's a piece of shit, and I couldn't find the article anywhere else in time for the show. So it really surprised me because Megan is very, very much that person, but I've never heard her go, maybe because she's on YouTube, that her channel is on YouTube, so she knows that she can say these words and it won't be bleeped. And although she has a big audience, bigger than CNN on her YouTube channel, it's for me, it was like, what? Megyn Kelly's cursing? She never does that.
I mean, it makes sense that you would alter your language based on where you're. Yeah. Like, if you're on, say, Fox News, they're going to have strict controls over what language you're allowed to use. And so she probably would get in a lot of trouble if she called someone an asshole on Fox News, whereas YouTube doesn't care. It's like, asshole is well within the permitted scope of a YouTube video.
Yeah. It was just shocking to me I guess because I don't really realize that she's on YouTube. You know, I just think she's same old Megyn Kelly on regular broadcast TV. I don't make the jump. So when she started doing this stuff, I'm like, my jaw's on the floor. What the fuck's going on?
I mean, I've made the point before, but I use words on Jack and Frosted's channel that I would never use on Minions because
they don't get a strike, but we do.
Trouble,
but, the hell is that?
I don't want to get Minions in trouble, but I'm fine because Jack and Frosted have said they don't mind having that content on their YouTube channel. So
and they've never gotten a strike. Right?
Oh my god! Oh my god! You should see the shit that we've said on the Jack Gunsky.
I've been there. Yeah. I've been on Jack's show. I've been on Campbell's show.
So the irony of it all is just like, that's how YouTube goes.
I think the only time Frosted ever got a strike was on D Live when he was streaming riff tracks, and that was for copyrighted material.
Yeah, I mean Jack's show is raunchy.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And like I said, I don't use that type of language on Minions because, you know,
it might be more child friendly. You don't know who's got kids in the background listening to us. That's the truth.
I love you, Jack. I really do, man. I mean, I hate you, but I love you. But the point being is that when I go on your show, your show, I feel uncomfortable. I mean, you guys say some stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm on this show and they're saying this thing.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. I'm literally embarrassed. It's like, God, I hope nobody relates this to the Minions at all. It's like going on like going on a white nationalist channel. You know, it's like, I don't want to be here.
I do think that's why certain people would be very hesitant to be on Quippers. Like someone who's got a reputation that they need to preserve.
I don't have a reputation.
No, but like if you're someone, I don't know, just picking like Bearing, for instance, just to pull a name out of thin air.
I don't think he has a problem.
I can understand Bearing being like, yeah, I don't want people associating my channel with this content. This is too far from me. I'm not going to be on the channel. I wouldn't fault him for taking that position.
Yeah.
At least current day Bearing. Bearing back in the day might have gone on the channel, but now nowadays no.
I think fatherhood has mellowed him out quite a bit.
He curses in his YouTube videos. He just bleeps himself out.
Yeah. Well, so it's that, and I think he got tired of being stalked by weirdos. Like, it's not to say he's not still being stalked by weirdos, but honestly, the amount of times he saw pictures of Christy Winter's titties, I wouldn't want that either. Like, she was always just like, Bearing, please look at my titties. They're here. And she was like, no, I have a hot Asian wife. Go away, crazy lady.
Bearing versus Christy was just a thing of wonder. That was like peak YouTube for me. That was the good times.
Oh, by the way, if Baron ever watches that, I hope he gets that mental image in his head too.
Yeah, that was probably when it came to the SJW stuff. The Riley, what was it? Riley Dennis and Steve Shives and Christy Winters and that whole crew. Baring. Yeah. Who else was Kraut?
Tim Blake or Demotivator Opinions.
Demotivator, right?
Roland. There was what's his name? Kevin Logan.
Right. Kevin Logan. Shives. Who else? Who's on the other side? Mediker. Worski. Undoomed.
Jeff when he was not a I mean he's always been a piece of shit, but when he was not a piece of shit against everything Republican or conservative.
Even people like Jeff Holiday and
Jeff Holiday. Suit Yourself. So Fame. Suit Yourself. Who was the other one? No Bullshit.
Yeah, But my point is, like, Sophie and Jeff, if you look at where they are now,
Oh
you
my
wouldn't
God.
believe that they were actually anti-SJW, anti-feminist types back in like 2016, because they've like gone very, very left.
I wonder
Yeah.
if they were really anti-SJW or just anti-Christie. They just didn't like her.
Well, Sophie and Christy Winters are friends.
Now.
So no, she was on his channel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was like making fun of him, and like I think he was trying to hit on
What was the name
all of Christy's friends or something. But
was Poisoning the Well? Was that the name of their?
That's their channel, yeah.
Channel,
It's
yeah.
Sophie and Fat Pat.
Yeah, is that still in the air?
And I have no idea. And there was that other one with Roy and Lacey. What was their channel called?
Well, I always know Lacey Green on her own channel. I didn't know she had a.
No. Very nearly viral. There was like Roy, and there was he's not quite trans, but he's like very feminine man who goes by Lacey, and those two had a channel called Very Nearly Viral.
Yeah. I don't know if I knew enough about the left at that time to know about that. I remember almost everything else though. But that was when I just started getting on YouTube and watching stuff and all that, and that was just so much fun. That was just so much fun for them to go back and forth making videos against each other, just going back and forth and just ripping each other. That was so much fun. It was like the Kumite without the violence, right?
People like Milo, what was her name?
Oh yeah, the transgenderish kind of bedroom feminist
Milo
chick.
Stewart, that was her name. Milo Stewart.
Yep.
And Ash Hardell.
Yeah. God, you're coming up with all the good names. I can't remember any of these people. I'm a boomer. Where's my? I have a boomer. Whatchamacallit?
Well, this was my introduction to YouTube. Was that whole thing where it was like Monkey and Sargon and all them taking shots at Christy and like the easy targets like Milo and Ash. And,
I have a boomer sound thing.
Whatever you say, boomer.
I don't know if that played or not.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, that was the best time. That was the best times. Monkey used to do Dear Dumbass videos.
Yeah. Oh, Francesca Ramsey, that's another one.
Oh yeah, Francesca Ramsey.
Shooting with Worski.
With Worski all the time. Yeah. And the Kumite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Good times. Enough reminiscing. We need to move on to another topic. You're making me feel good. My heart feels good now. All that fun stuff. Yeah. Yeah, COVID is kind of still an issue, not just for the infections, because did you know there's a new COVID in town?
No, okay.
Yeah, COVID
Long
4.
Long COVID?
No, COVID 4 and COVID 5 are now in North America.
Yeah, up here they're calling it long COVID.
No, long COVID's a separate issue. You can get long COVID from COVID 2 and 2.12 or 2.21, whatever it is.
I think isn't long COVID just
Or
the long-term
Omicron,
effects of
not
getting
COVID. It's Omicron. I'm getting my COVIDs mixed up. It's Omicron. Omicron 2, then Omicron 2.12.1, and now Omicron 4 and 5 are out. And you can get long COVID from Delta. That's been around for a long time. But yeah, there's a new version of Omicron in town. Sound like a sheriff. Howdy, partner. There's a new Omicron in town. That's just starting to take over in the Americas, and we're starting to see a little bit of an increase in cases, because even though you've had the other Omicrons, you can still get this one. It's very mild, milder than all the other Omicrons. A lot of people don't know they're having it. It's that mild.
At that point, are you even really sick?
You're infected. You're just not showing symptoms.
So what?
Yeah. But you're not just showing symptoms.
I've got all kinds of bugs and viruses and shit inside me. I don't feel the symptoms of them. So does it matter?
I've had more pains just from cutting the grass from any infection I've ever had, So, I mean, do I need disability for being sore from cutting the grass? I mean, that's where we're at.
I think you should apply.
But that's not actually the news story. I did want to mention that we have a new COVID in town. That's one thing. But what's bothering me, and Jen can talk to this, is that it's been a long time that COVID's been around, and Canada is still holding on to lockdowns of a sort and vaccinations of a sort.
Great England, great England released their doors a year ahead of us, almost. Like 6 months before we had our little flip out in January, they'd already lost their masks, or at least we're like, hey, you know what? We don't think they're, worth making a big deal out of. And to be fair, they almost lynched Boris to get there, but he was like, you know what? Fine. And you know what? When you go to their airports, and not just England, you go across the channel to France and Germany and anywhere else in fucking Europe, and they're not restricting people the way they are here. Like, are they still kind of expecting some people to have the vaccine? Some people are still wearing some masks. Yes, but it's not forced. It's not like, if I get onto a train, there will be like maybe a handful of people like me who've taken off the mask because I think it's worse for my allergies. I just don't want to wear it. I feel like alien slime when I take the damn thing off. So I'm like, fuck it. I don't have to. I'm not going to. But you go on the train and people are just wearing it frantically. Like they think they're going to get the next big thing. And now they're trying to push monkeypox. And I'm like, monkeypox is sexually transmitted.
Right.
It's sexually transmitted.
I don't know if it's sexually transmitted or if sex is just one of the main ways that it's like. I think
it's not aerial. It's not aerosolized.
Yeah, but I think there's non-sexual ways you can catch it. It's just the kind of people and the kind of intercourse that they're having, which I'm trying to not get too explicit for YouTube reasons. But that is a high risk form of intercourse, which is why it so easily spreads that way. But I think there's non-sexual ways you can catch the pox.
Well, like a cold sore. It's coming from the same family as a cold sore. So if you're in the habit of sharing drinks and food and maybe touching your mouth like a cold sore, yeah, maybe.
I thought it was fluid transfer.
That makes sense.
That's the way I read it. I can certainly do some, if you guys want to chit chat, I can go into a browser and do some research real quick. But I thought fluid transfer is the only way you can do it. You can't get it from handshakes. It has to be,
right.
And I'll go this far. It has to be bug sex. I think passionate kissing, just anything that could possibly transfer fluid between two orifices. Might be a way to say it that Susan won't get mad at us for. She's already mad enough. Yeah. She's just mad. She's cuckoo.
Well, that's why I was like speaking around it, because I didn't want to just come out and say those people doing that thing that they do.
Yeah, I think if you stay medical, I think we're okay. But I think fluid transfer between orifices is the way you get it. So I don't see why wearing a mask would do anything at all.
It would have no effect at all.
Yeah. So, but you can't fly, can you, Jen? If you're not vaccinated, you can't fly.
I can't fly to another country. It's very difficult to fly between provinces. It's very difficult to get between provinces. I have had 2 vaccines. I refuse to get more than the 2. Just because I feel like anything past 2, when it hasn't been a couple of years down the line, doesn't sound like a vaccine to me anymore. And I'm really not comfortable with a lot of the stuff that's been coming out lately. Sudden adult death syndrome is kind of not something I want to joke about. And the people up here who've bought into this COVID thing so much are sociopathic about it. Like at no point in my mind have I ever thought that this vaccine or any vaccine ever on this planet, ever created, was ever good for everybody.
Not everyone. Absolutely everyone. If you're not vaccinated, you're evil. That is that's right, isn't it, Susan?
Sorry, Susan. It's just back in the day, we used to test children and things like that for this kind of stuff. And morally speaking, it wasn't a good thing back then either. But back
Yeah,
then,
I
we
mean,
had nothing else really.
this is the same people who push chemical castration drugs on minors
Yes.
because everyone should transition because it's cool and the thing to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised that they're like, nah, let's just pump them full of vaccine. Who cares? If they die, then they won't get COVID. Still counts as a success.
Right. That is how they are viewing it. Up here, that is how they've been viewing it. Like we have probably just as many people with vaccine injuries as anybody else who's gone through this. You know, even you guys have it a little bit worse in some regards, because I don't know about the US, but we didn't have every vaccine up here. Like we had maybe 4 or 5 choices, but most people
More
were
than
going
us.
for
We had
we
two,
had
maybe
next,
3, kind of.
I think we had AstraZeneca, and you had to like it. That was that. It was like
That's it?
if you, yeah, no, it was just we.
So you
After
guys
a while,
you didn't have Moderna or Pfizer or any of those?
after a while, they bought some Pfizer ones because I think the AstraZeneca ones were really, really bad for old people. And so like they were just like, no, we want you to take the AstraZeneca one, and then not enough people were. So it's like, okay, fine, we'll get the Pfizer one too.
The U.S. had Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson for a while before I'm not sure what happened to it, but I think it got pulled. What did Canada have?
Same as you.
Same thing? I guess North America gets all the same stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that US and Canada would have the same thing because it's a lot easier to like transfer stuff from one country to the other than to get it down to Australia.
Yeah. So the thing that bothers me is that no one is really talking about SADS. You know, nobody is really saying too much about it. It's really not showing up on any news programs. I'm not hearing about it on Twitter. I mean, I see 1 or 2 little things here and there. So far, I've seen 3 cases, but I have no idea if anybody has said, did these people have a vaccination or not? You know, no one's asking that question.
It's
a few things from chat just quickly. Corsten says monkeypox is spread by close contact, according to the BBC, and you're advised to use a condom for 8 weeks after infection. And Cynic is saying that AstraZeneca was being manufactured in Australia, and they didn't order many Pfizer at first.
Oh, okay. Well, AstraZeneca was also in the UK. It kind of makes sense that you both had it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was going to say, for somebody that I watched recently, Brett Weinstein is he was going on about how they're not even really talking about the fact that they're not keeping the data yet. Like they already know that en masse, the way that this was executed was probably not the best way to go about it, because all these vaccines were experimental, you know, to begin with, and they don't really know what the long-term effects are really going to be. Like they have guesses. Some of them have guesses. Most of them don't know. And a lot of people, like even in the medical field, were just taking it like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. But like you're talking about 10 years down the road with people who were very young at the time. You know, we don't really find out what we're gonna get until we're really in your, you know, it's really between your 30s and your 40s that you kind of discover everything, you know.
I'm just a little concerned.
And then later,
I'm just a little concerned at some point that we start seeing an increase in these SAD deaths. You know, and then we find a link, and then I mean, what kind of revolt is that going to be? The government killing its people because they didn't properly test a drug. That's going to be a.
You guys reminded me of ages ago. Sargon was shilling his Lotus Eaters thing at the end of one of his videos.
Oh yeah, Sargon.
And he's talking about why are all these athletes dropping dead of heart attacks? And it's like, well, we can't talk about this on YouTube, but I'm sure it's climate change.
That's funny. He comes in with zingers every once in a while. What were you saying, Jen?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't.
So yeah, I'm a little concerned about what's going to happen down the line, because maybe this is just the beginning of it, or maybe it was just those 3 cases and that was it. I don't know, but these people were all supposedly not the not the left's version of healthy, which means 400 pounds, but these people were 170, 200 pounds, like actually thin people in good health that were like exercising daily, that kind of stuff, and were trim, slender, muscular, whatever you want to call it. People who apparently had no problems of any kind, not even a cold, and boom, gone, just like that. And they're they're not saying that they had a heart attack. They say they suddenly died. And suddenly died of what? They're not saying that they suddenly died of their heart stopping. They're not saying that they had an aneurysm, or they're not saying why they died. They just died. That's not telling us anything, which makes me suspicious. You know how conspiracy theories goes. If you just give me a little bit of information, I'm going to fill in the rest of the blanks,
Right.
So that's the deal with that. But yeah, the reason I wanted to bring this up really wasn't so much about SARS or COVID. Generally, I found that the United States is pretty much open. We're open for business. Even in California and New York, nobody's wearing masks anymore. Very few. You might see 1 or 2, but generally nobody. But Canada is just still in the throes. Like COVID is still, it's still like an adulthood thing. I'm like, what? You got to be thinking by this point. And the conservatives in Canada are losing their mind. I'm watching them on TV, and they're like, when is Trudeau going to do this? And we're tired of this, and blah, blah, blah. You're making our people suffer, and blah, 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 blah. And he's not even there. He went to Europe or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he's probably there for the Jubilee.
Crazy.
He's more interested in spending our money and virtue signaling and double standards, very, very double standards. Like you will see him standing in front of the Queen, no mask.
Right.
In Ukraine, the place where it's 40% vaccinated, unmasked. But you'll see him in photos with his wife where they're both happily swinging in the chairs, both masked. It's like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's not even just that. Like they've somehow changed the rules with people. Like before, for the most part, people were still kind of taking their masks off when they left a building. Now you'll see people just holding onto their masks everywhere they go outside of the building. I'm like, okay, in the winter, I could kind of understand that, because in winter, it's still an extra layer of cloth if you can get away with it. I can't, because it fogs the shit out of my glasses and it makes my nose leak. But you know what? Fair enough. I've tried it, like I try to wiggle room my own version of it. But in the middle of summer, right now, I don't know about you guys in the US. I imagine it's not too different, but it's pollen season. So your masks are just covered in like yellow dust. Like if you walk under the wrong tree, it's gross. It's a little yellow film, and it gets all over your mask. And yeah, it sticks to your mask. Most people wear the same mask for at least 2 to 3 days. And if they're wearing a cloth mask, it's longer than that. And they act like they clean them. Some of them do. There's one hypochondriac for every 8 other regular people. The 8 other regular people aren't doing that. Yeah. So the mask thing, it's just the weirdest charades. Like
Sydney, at least, is basically open. I've seen like one bakery still has a sign up saying wearing a mask is a condition of entry, but like the person inside isn't wearing a mask. So I think they just forgot to take the sign down.
So even Australia, the place where they were like beating your ass and throwing you in the Australian version of a concentration camp, has loosened its hold.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'll be fine to head down to Melbourne to visit family's Christmas. I think all of that stuff has gone away.
It was the threats of the emus. I knew it. I told you. If I just mentioned emu plus horn tied to emu, and your guys were like, fair enough, because it'll just piss off the birds.
Yeah. Maybe if we can convince them that COVID keeps the emus away, they'll be like, "Oh, we want everyone to get COVID. No masks, no vaccines. We get as sick as you can, please."
I would think by this point in time, everybody has had COVID because it's
I think I have.
so prevalent. Yeah, but I mean, there's going to be people who are like you and I who don't interact with other humans that are probably never
Well,
going to get it.
I'll say this: I have had colds over the last few years. Any of them could have been COVID.
Right. Depending how your body
So
reacts.
I didn't get tested because it's like it's a minor cold. Who cares? But for all I know, it was COVID.
For I guess maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I'm not a person who gets sick. I don't get colds or flus. My problems with my body are never my immune system. It's always the other things with like, sicknesses like diabetes and that kind of stuff. I never get colds or any of that kind of stuff. Never in my entire life have I ever done it, even when I was a kid. About 5 months ago, I did get something that kind of knocked me out for a bit. Like for 2 days, I felt like total crap, and my nose was kind of runny, not terribly, but more than normal. I had this. Tell me if you guys do this too. I have this weird thing, and I just really noticed it the last, 6 months. If I cough fairly strenuously, after a few minutes, I end up sneezing. Every time I cough, I seriously cough, and I'm done coughing. After about 30 seconds, I get a huge itch in my nose, and I sneeze. And when I sneeze a bunch of times. And of course, if you sneeze a bunch of times, your nose runs. So it's this whole process now that I've noticed that if I ever like drink like soda and something gets caught in my throat and I cough, after I finally clear my throat, I sneeze and then I have to blow my nose every time.
That doesn't happen to me.
That's weird.
No.
All right.
I mean, I have allergies and stuff. Like, I mean, there were times where I would say having my mask was helpful, because I've said this before. I work in a place where I put away soap, so boxes of soap plus a mask meant I had less allergies, or I was less likely to sneeze something out that was gross.
It's
and I could toss that mask out
by showing up early.
Hi, Johnny.
Johnny Hellcat has taken the role of turning up right near the end. So, hi to Johnny.
Yeah, the other time I have a real problem with sneezing is if it's a dark room and I go out in the sun.
Ooh.
I start sneezing uncontrollably. I don't know what that's all about.
Weird.
I'm weird.
Maybe in 20 years I'll be doing the same thing. Who knows?
I think the only thing we have left on the list of things to chat about is what's going on with Elon Musk. I don't know if you guys really want to get into that.
I'm always down for Elon Musk. I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of ragging on him because he might have had a thing for Amber Heard back in the day, and I'm like, listen, I think a lot of people tapped that and shouldn't have.
Well, at least he was smart enough to get out in time. We do see pictures of him with bruises on his face, so it kind of makes you wonder what he's not saying. But the reason I brought him up is because, of course, he was going to buy Twitter. And then he said, well, you have to release your information or I'm not going to buy Twitter. And everyone saw that as a reason for him not to buy Twitter. He's going to back out.
Well, I think the whole thing, as you've mentioned in the description, is the bot issue where they told him there was less than 5% of the accounts were bots. And he's like, nuh-uh.
Well, supposedly, I don't know if they've done it yet, but all the news is that they decided to turn over all their information about all of their accounts to Musk for his perusal because they've been withholding that information, and that's why he wasn't going to buy them because they wouldn't tell him. And that's a direct violation on their part. They would have to pay the $1 billion separation fee.
Yes.
So they gave him, supposedly they gave him a quote-unquote firehouse of documents. I don't know what that means, firehouse or fire hose or something like that, which just means like 500,000 documents. I don't know how many it means, but I couldn't really make it from the things that I read. I couldn't really make out exactly how much their information they're giving, but they're basically giving him everything for him to go through and determine how many bots they really have. And he's estimating 20%,
which is a lot more realistic than 5.
Certainly is, considering the amount of bots I've run into, and I don't follow very many people. If I'm following you on Twitter, you're a very special person because I don't follow very many people.
I reckon if they purged all the bots from Twitter, I'd have about half as many followers. Because I swear, every time I get a notification saying someone has followed me, it's a porn bot.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no porn bots following me. I don't know if everybody who's following me is real, but nobody's a porn bot. How many people do you have following you? Can you bring that information up on Twitter?
I've got 419 followers.
And how many people, better yet, how many people do you follow?
912.
You follow 912 people?
Well,
No
912 accounts. Yeah.
Really? Jen, how many people do you follow?
5.
5?
I've got. Let me just double check.
Jen doesn't use Twitter, so I'm being a little obnoxious there. I'm sure you follow more than 5 people.
I do. I follow 343 people, but I've
Both
got
of you.
337 followers.
Both of you follow more people and have more followers than I do, and I'm on Twitter all the time. The people I'm following, and this is an exclusive amount, I follow 63 people.
For me, it had to do with back when Wexit was kind of a thing, and we were kind of reacting to being constipated with Trudeau for the second time. And I just followed a whole bunch of Canadians and stuff. The idea was so that I could actually get in contact with other Canadians in case things actually hit the fan. And I don't necessarily follow everybody, because a lot of people like to play the, well, if you follow me, I'll unfollow you game, because I'm really just in it for the clout. And I was just like, I'm not really into that. Like, don't get me wrong, the idea of having a big channel on Twitter, yeah, that sounds nice and stuff, but the idea that I can actually talk to you and get that kind of use out of my Twitter is kind of more where I'm at. You know, it's that way of getting in reach with people without actually having to get in reach with people that I was trying to kind of create. So if you're the type to follow and then unfollow, I unfollow you.
I follow.
Kind of pointless.
There are some certain criteria. Like I follow all the Minions hosts.
Yeah.
Because you never know when someone needs to get in touch with you. So if you're following, they can DM you.
Yeah.
So that's that. I follow all the people from Monkeys, Satsu. I follow SDA. I know. And then there's,
I don't think I follow her anymore. I think I used to, but I stopped.
Yeah. And then the people who are nice to me, I follow them. Like I follow Kira Dam. I just recently followed Spud. And I was like dead set that I wasn't going to go past 62, but Spud was cool, so I followed him. But I think I followed Jack. I think I follow Mr. Adam because he's a host, but I think I followed him anyway. I think I follow Cynic. I follow Costin. I think everybody in our chat tonight I follow. So, but I mean, I don't follow much else than that, than the people. The only people I follow outside of that realm are like computer people, like JZ 2 Cents, Gamers Nexus, Hardware Canucks, Hardware and Box down in Australia, the computer people. But that's about it. I don't even follow like real life friends. I follow real life friends on my real life account.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I think I should probably split my account in half. So I've got like one account that follows like the political stuff and one that's just like video game stuff, because there's a lot of tweets that I would be interested in that are to do with video games, and they just get drowned out by everyone chatting about guns and COVID and everything else. So I should probably set up 2 accounts and just like only follow like Street Fighter players and stuff like that on the second one, and keep the first one as the stuff the Minions and Monkey and stuff would likely talk about.
The problem I have is when you follow somebody and somebody likes something, like there are people out there that like certain things that I can't stand, but I follow them. So every time they like something, I see what they're interested in. Right. And I'm not interested in that, So there's, and that only happens on the phone. I think it doesn't really happen on the web browser.
It only does happens to a lesser extent.
Yes, I mean, nothing against Scribe. I love Scribe, but he's into Star Wars. And at this point, I can't fucking stand Star Wars anymore, because I liked them for the first 2 movies and I can tolerate the third one. But all the prequels and everything since, the story of Star Wars, all that shit, I don't want to have any. I hate it. I fucking hate it. And
Yeah.
he's still talking to people and liking stuff, and that's great. I'm glad he likes it. I'm glad he enjoys it, and he has an opinion on things and that kind of stuff. But I don't want to see it anymore. But I still want to follow Scribe, so I just have to put up with it.
Yeah. See, I think I just follow so many accounts that I just get a mix of everything.
Yeah, it's when you get the furry porn and you're like, who the hell do I know who's into furry porn?
Well, I
And
mean,
you're really, 'cause-
Panda.
Yeah.
It's always going to be video games and Panda. If you see any kind of Bowser porn, that's him. That is him.
Yeah, I think Sir Wolfie is a furry, isn't he? He's a minion.
Nice
I don't know.
people, but all of a sudden you see like, horse dong and a bunch of like
Oh, you're following
dogs
Jank from the Young
and-
Turks. That's your fault there.
Don't follow our junk. You don't want to follow that guy.
I know, right? Oh,
I
you
actually
really
do follow
shouldn't.
Jank and Anna on
You're
Twitter.
crazy.
Well, to be honest, he's not wrong. Like, even though you see stuff that you don't want to necessarily see or read stuff you don't really want to read, it's better to know what stupid shit they're saying than to just look away all the
Well-
time. Like, I'm a coward because I do.
See, I follow Lauren Chen for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they do something stupid, she's going to do a video on it. So I don't have to actually.
Well, that's
have to-
true. Plus, she's cuter to look at.
She certainly
like-
is.
True.
Very married and very, very
Yeah,
cute.
but she's
Have you
got
seen
an
her
adorable
baby?
little- She's so cute. She's
Oh
so
my
cute.
God. I haven't
Cute
seen a
baby.
baby that cute since Satsu's kid.
Mhm. And
Squeetus?
Squeetus is almost 3 now, and she's
Yeah,
so-
did you
that's
see that
her.
picture?
Oh, yeah.
She is adorable, man. She's such a cute kid. She was a cute baby too. I mean, I don't like babies, obviously. If anybody knows me, they know I'm not really big on kids. But I was like, oh my God, that's a cute kid. Immediately off the bat, the first time I saw her, I was like, oh my God. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
when,
look how
when,
cute
when,
she
when you
is.
get when you get to tell your friends that, but you genuinely mean it, yeah.
Yeah.
Satsu, you got all the reasons to be proud, and so does Squishy, because she
Yeah.
totally had a
haven't
lot to
seen-
do with the making of that one. She
Mhm.
totally did.
I haven't seen Lauren's kid, but obviously I have seen.
Oh,
Squeak.
Lauren's kid's cute. She really is. I mean, babies, I think all babies are basically ugly. They're all squished faces and fat, and they can't open their eyes. And they look like drunken uncle's avatar to me. It's like, and so, I mean, I'm not big on kids, but she took a couple of pictures of him and posted on her, because you don't follow her?
Oh, I do. I do.
I mean,
Terry, do you
I
follow?
follow.
Yeah.
I follow it. It's just that I follow 911 other accounts.
Right.
So
Yeah, you just
that stuff
yeah.
gets buried in the mix.
and that's why I don't follow 900 people, because once it gets past a certain point, I'm like, I can't handle it anymore. I start unfollowing people. It's like, no. My timeline has to calm down. I can't take this, because I want to read everything in its entirety. So if I see something come up where it's a thread, I read the entire thread. If it's 30 posts, I'll read all 30 posts. Even from Claudia, I'll read all of her stuff.
30 posts I'll read. If you follow fucking Hannah Wallen from the Honey Badgers, her fucking threads, I'm scrolling up pages, and like they started like 4 years ago and they're still bitching about stuff. It's like, I'm not reading this. I'm not reading 4 years worth of bullshit.
You look at the bottom corner of the tweet and it says 1/53.
And then
No,
people,
it's
people
I'm
not
go
not
to
reading
my
53.
channel. And do you know what they find on my channel? They find Satsu, they find Lords of the Night, they find Minions of the Zoo, they find Pat, because I've started visiting Pat more. Minions
BG?
of the Zoo, BG, yeah, blind girl. Heavy on the blind girl because
You're on her show.
I'm on her show, and I'm always trying to help Shill for her stuff because she's got stuff on the go.
Yep.
I'm going to pretend that Kiva Dame is talking about the cat I used to have, whose name is Phoebe. That's obviously the one that she's referring to there.
Monkeys, Phoebe. So does anybody? I'm going to ask chat this, and we'll stick around for a few minutes to get an idea of this. But does anybody follow less people than I do? Am I like the guy who follows the least amount of people? Remember, the number you're trying to beat is 63. And be honest. It's not a competition. I just want to know
It's
how.
easy to check. Like if someone lies, you can just go to their Twitter and see. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
so don't lie, because
Well,
Terry's gonna call you out. So
yeah.
because I don't know how to do that, but he does. Nobody's responding. We got to give him 12 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever the time delay is. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know anybody who follows. I think I follow.
Well, I know one person who follows less than you do.
Who's that?
Medica. He follows 0 people.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's gangster. You follow nobody.
Yeah. That's kind of his gimmick. And that's how I knew that Quarantined Coof was him, because Quarantined Coof also follows 0 people.
Right. Yeah. Quarantine Coof is Medicare, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's how I knew it was him.
Oh, because 0 followers.
Yeah, no, following 0 people.
Yeah. Keep damn, she's over 63, so she's just you're disqualified. Yep. Thank you for playing. My personal account only follows like 2 or 3 people. I can't tell you who they are because you could probably find me if I tell you that information. Costin.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God! Look at Costin's number. 1,262 people.
Okay, I know when I'm beaten.
My head would explode if I had to try to follow. Oh my God. Oh well.
But like I've mentioned before, I do have notifications set up so that if it's someone I actually care about, I will get a notification every time they tweet. So if Hammer or Gunsky or Johnny Hellcat or someone like that tweets, I'll get a notification. So they will not get lost in the mix. It'll be like, oh, Johnny said something. Let's see what he's got to say. Or, you know.
Gotcha. I wish that worked for DMs. It's still something that I can't manage, is because I get a DM and I never know it because it doesn't make any noise. I depend on the noise. I don't look at my phone that much. I just listen for it to make a noise, whether it's an SMS message.
I rely entirely on the audio cue.
Yeah,
that's how I know I've got a message or a notification.
But you don't.
And that's also why I miss so many YouTube notifications, is because it doesn't make a sound for me.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if somebody DMs you, you don't hear it, right?
No, I do.
Why do you hear it and I don't? Do you have an iPhone?
I don't know. Yeah, it's an iPhone.
Sometimes
it's a very, very old iPhone.
It doesn't make any difference. The app's the same app. It doesn't matter how old the iPhone is. It's the app that's the thing. But yeah, sometime during the middle of the day, not tonight because it's 10:30 or 10:15. We need to go over our settings together so I can find out what's causing this, because I'm losing my mind. I need to be able to hear DMs. Because it's driving me crazy. You guys.
One thing I have noticed is if I've got the messages open, then I don't get an audio notification. So if my Twitter is open, but it's on like viewing the messages, even if I've like minimized it, I won't get an audio notification. If that's the case, I have to like make sure I'm on like the home page if I want notifications for messages.
Well, generally my phone that long enough that nothing's happened, so the homepage, the screen's gone blank, and it'll only pop up stuff when something comes across, like Twitter or an SM message or something like that.
But I would possibly suggest close Twitter, like close the app on your phone. Maybe that'll help you get your notifications.
I thought that would end everything. I wouldn't get anything after that.
No, because I never have anything open in my phone unless I'm using that app right now. I close everything, and I get all my notifications. So
for people who are using iPhones who do not know this, this is my tech tip for the day. I wonder if we should add that into the show at the end of the show, tech tip for the day. You can find what programs are running on your iPhone by double-clicking your home button. It'll bring up a list of everything you use, and then you just swipe up to get rid of them.
Yeah, because that's how I know.
They don't use any processing power unless it's an app that talks to the internet. Some of them will, like SMS messages, Twitter, and that kind of stuff will use power because they're looking for incoming messages or email. But if you turn everything off, your battery will last forever.
My stepdad is the one who told me that, because he had to use my phone for something, and he like, why do you have like every app ever open at the same time? was like, well, I don't know how to do anything else about it. He's like, oh no, you just do this. He's like, oh, right. So ever since, it's like, okay, well, I can just close my apps.
Well, why don't you say we get out of here? Jen, you have anything else?
Alright.
Nope. I'm good.
All right.
How about you?
It sounds like Terry hasn't got anything either. So a little nostalgia for the people who remember the early Minions shows. This used to be my intro to running a stream. So I thought I'd throw that out there for people who haven't heard this song in a while. And it's always special thanks to everybody chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the Minions are live every evening, including weekdays, or I'm sorry, with weekends, with most shows starting at 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Posts and start times are listed in our description down below. We'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week.
Point out that we're still going to be on the second channel because
Yeah, it's not gonna. If this turns out to be the full 7 days, then our show will be the last show on the alternate channel. So that means that the Thursday show with Johnny would, if everything goes as planned right now, and we have to wait the entire week out, she can't get us off of this. The Thursday show will be the first show back on the original channel. So that's going to happen. So anyway, everybody have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.